es la voz de LA. It's like una galaxiana, come and kick it with us. I bring the bossa nova beats and talk the club that we love. Another year to adjust, and Will Kuntz we all trust. 6 titles in the cabin, tell the haters shut up. Mirar al horizonte con el cielo morado. Llegamos al estadio como siempre lo hago. Es la nueva temporada, ya cumplí 30 años. Rezándole a San Pequi que no dé al travesaño. Que repartan los balones y no sean tacaños. Que regrese el contraataque y que le hagamos daño. Un saludo para Robert, hermanos ecuatorianos. Que la táctica de Ananda nunca sean en vano. Si se trata de mi gala me levanto temprano. Ver el fur en verano, en el pasto tumbado. Siempre estoy a tu lado, en cualquier resultado. Vamos Galaxy, on top is where I gotta be. Chilling in the canopy, staging like a winery. Goles during rivalries, brew from the refinery. Only want the finer things, we letting you know. Lo que pasa en la galaxia, ready, let's start the show.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans out there, wherever you may be, and all you soccer fans out there. You have a home here as well. And today, we're going to get you caught up. The LA Galaxy played a decent game with a rotated lineup this weekend against Inter Miami, very much the underdogs, and we're heading toward a hard-fought away point when the extraterrestrial, the monster, the beast, Lionel Messi produced 2 moments of magic that led his team to a 3-1 win over the Galaxy. We'll take a look at what the Galaxy did right until Messi took over, what the rotated lineup means for the Galaxy's league and League's Cup chances, and take a closer look as one of the killer peas rounds into form. We'll be rejoined tonight by MLS and Apple TV analyst Keith Costigan to get his updated thoughts on the state of the Galaxy 1 month after he joined us last time. Plus, we look ahead to the League's Cup, the Galaxy's big hope for a trophy and Champions Cup qualification. All that and more coming up on tonight's episode of La Cuna Galaxiana. And we want to say welcome back to everyone. Thank you so much. Let me introduce myself. I'm one of your co-hosts. I'm Rob Halone. You can find my written work at the Sporting Tribune and Extra Time Talk. And, of course, we have my co-host right next to me, as usual. He's going through a somewhat of a bout of laryngitis at the moment, so he has to keep, the voice on an even keel, right? So without further ado, the laryngitis one, the special one, El Papá de Nata, El Gitano Perdido, and now officially again, the Cosmopolitan one, Ananda Kirana. Papá, welcome back.
Yeah, it's not that deep, guys. It's not that as deep as my voice, my morning voice at at 6 a.m. in an undisclosed location in northern Spain. There you go. Like Rob said, jet set in life, I guess. It is what it is. But yeah, coming in hot from the, what did I say last time? The other land, right? Not the motherland, but the other land.
Other land, exactly.
Coming in hot from the other land. But yeah, really quick, man, before we get any further, of course, I just want to say what up to everyone in chat. Hola, William Lamb. What's up, AG? Alex Gutierrez, the one and only Rocio, and Juan Quintanilla.
The one and only.
What is up, guys? And yeah, like I said, coming in hot mics here from the other side of the world. It's not laryngitis, but I might have my ASMR voice today because I've got I'm in a hotel room, like I said, I'm gonna have probably shoddy internet, so I might drop as well, although it's holding up okay so far. So far so good.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, and I haven't gotten yelled at yet in this room, so that'll work. My dog's with me too, so this is great. This is live TV. This is live TV.
This is good. This is going to be good, and the fact that we have a really good guest again. I mean, we have Keith Costigan back with us, and we had him on a couple of days before the 4th of July, of course, ahead of that Vancouver match. And the Galaxy, there was still a little bit of hope around. I mean, they had put together a couple of good results. We'll talk to him and see how he feels now. But Ananda, of course, we are on our way to 700 subs with everyone's help, we will get there. Díganle, por favor, el lechero, the guy that, fixes your car, tell your auntie, your uncle, everyone about this pod, this humble little pod, and, we will love you forever. And Ananda will take a shot with you when he sees you for sure. So there is that. If you got something to get off your chest, if you got a question, go ahead and hit up those super chats, and we will go ahead and feature said question or comment, unless it is una majadería. And here's where we get into some vocab lessons here, guys. Majadería means it's like some bad stuff you shouldn't be doing. So if it's some bad stuff you shouldn't be doing, we won't feature it though. Just to let you know. And Ananda will go ahead and be the police on that one for sure. If you're watching on X and Instagram, we love you forever. And also go ahead and hit us up with a like and subscribe on YouTube. And I didn't know this, but apparently Ananda just let me know that we are now on Blue Sky as well. So Ananda, is that the same handle at Lacuna Galaxiana?
Just search Lacuna Galaxiana. You can find it. I think they have their own like .bsky, .social, whatever that is. But you know what? The wonderful, the all-knowing legend that is David Gass, he actually influenced me on this one. I think I was inspired by our last conversation with him on this pod. So now we have Blue Sky. There you go, guys.
All right. Well, now we have Blue Sky, y'all. Check us out on Goals TV as well. Ananda and I are featured on a Goals TV video talking transfers, and then he is in a video with Jose Bromigos. Shout out. Talking about the silly season of the transfer window and who might have gotten the best of it. So check that out, guys. We have a couple of announcements as well before we get to
are we hitting at one words yet? We haven't gotten to the one words yet. Are we hitting at one words?
Ooh,
you know how this show goes. Like, why don't you go first, Papa? I always go first. Why don't you go first?
What? Really? You're gonna pull that?
I pinky swear I'll do predictions next time.
It's just you see how this guy is, chat. You see how this guy is. He's like, okay, well, now we have receipts. He just did it in front of all of y'all.
Minute marker, minute 7.
Unsurprising. I mean, actually, I take that back. I'm I don't know if this is a one word, and I'm gonna cheat severely, but they did me proud. I mean, it was unsurprising in that the Galaxy, I called it was going to be a 3-1 Miami win, actually, if you remember. But the rotated lineup put up a very respectable showing, and I'm pleased with it. I mean, through 84 minutes, I mean, they were on par, and I really think that Greg's substitutions actually let him down a little bit, but through 84 minutes before Messi took over, it was. It was like a really good, backs to the wall defense, like the Alamo type stuff.
But other than that, the game in totality and in the light of the season, I'm with Juan Quintanilla on this one, man. The game was messy, and that's my one word reaction is messy because the double entendre it just leans into itself. So game was messy. We got Messi'd. What else can I say?
Yeah, no. Of course, it was everything you think of it to be, and more. Like when you think of Messi taking over a game, that's what happened. I mean, and it's happened to the Galaxy 2 years in a row, but this year was even more overt. I mean, this guy this guy was, like Greg said in the post game, not even 100, and he just turned it on at some point and was like, "I'm gonna score now," and he did, and then he pulled off a filthy back heel, and it's like, this guy's, like I said, an alien, an extraterrestrial, man. He's just
and what did you say for the Galaxy to win? They need to ... They didn't listen.
Oh,
they didn't listen,
no.
did they?
No. I don't know. Can you refresh my memory?
You said they needed to be switched on, or something to that effect. They needed to be.
Well, they were through 84 minutes, and then,
but not for 90, and that's the problem.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that that Messi gets the drop on Lucas Sanabria right here. I mean, Greg calls it out that he's a little naive there to kind of fall for Messi's drop step right there. But what can you even do about that back heel? It's
That you can't do anything about. That's just
surgical,
class.
filthy, and then Luisito does wonderful to finish it. I mean, in the build-up to this game, or really all season, I've been hearing that Luisito was washed, que el vato ya no pega, que ya no mete gol, que ya no corre. He very much looked on to me. I mean, it could have been just like, hey, this is a high-profile game. He might be performing. Who knows? But Luisito Suarez still has it in his bag. We saw it in back heels. We saw it in little flicks. I mean, he was going for it. He winds up with the really, really nice finish from that Messi back heel, but just a really good game. He was a handful for the Galaxy all night, man. But anyway, that's my one word.
Yeah, we'll talk about all this stuff later, and probably with Keith as well. So shout outs.
Yeah, let's do that. And let's start with the blue, white, and gold pop-up, man. Let's start with the diners from the 1-2 threads. A shout out to them. The blue, white, and gold pop-up, the 11th one, is back at Absolution Brew on September 6th. So go check out your favorite LA Galaxy independent merchant. Some of your favorites are going to be the 1-2 threads, Moving Silence, we saw Arte. You can get fed as well. Chef BB, what's up? Go ahead and make me one of those sandwiches again. Those were bomb. And then all your supporter groups will be out there as well. Buenas to everybody just joining us in chat. We do appreciate it. We'll have our friend Keith Costigan on very, very shortly, so stick around for that. If you are into the reggae vibes, and I know I am, they're going to be back at the Lars Tailgate on August 23rd. This is Ananda. Have you seen this thing out there, like in person? This full stack.
Did they bring it out last year? Because if they did, maybe I can't remember.
Yo, man, it's what I want in the house, but the Minister of Finance will never let it happen. So it's just gorgeous, man. It's like if you like music and if you love music and you want like this premium sound, it's this. But you get it for a night or a tailgate at the very least on August 23rd from 3:30 to 7 before the Galaxy play the Rapids. So go ahead and check out that tailgate with Lars. Going to matters of the kind of just trying to give back here. Lucano's Heart is back for another event here. They're doing an event at Love Life in El Segundo on August 28th. So go out there and help out, donate some blood. This event goes from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. For more information, hit up CHLA-donateblood.org. Of course, Lucano's Heart is the foundation set up by LA Galaxy great legend, former champion, or former Galaxy great and champion Edu de la Garza.
Former Terp, shout out.
Yeah, former Terp as well. So Ananda has that as well. So he set up this foundation with his wife. So go ahead and get some more information at that website. Ananda, going to VCFC, who for most of the year had been kind of the anomaly, kind of like the outlier, where the Galaxy were taking kind of just losing streaks left and right. VCFC was actually kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel. They were doing quite well. They've hit a skid recently, Ananda. They lost their last match 4-1 to the Town FC. They got a late goal, so they were able to make it respectable and make it 4-1, or else it would have been a blank there. But they had been kind of chasing St. Louis too for a couple of weeks in second place, and now they've slipped to fourth in the Western Conference table after 21 games played. They're 10-5-6 on 37 points. They do have one game in hand on St. Louis, who's in first and third place as well. They have an opportunity to make up some ground against Austin FC2 away on August 22nd. That game is at 5:30. It seems like a good time, Ananda, to go ahead and remind everybody here that's in chat and that's joining us to go ahead and subscribe, because when you do subscribe to this humble little pod, you get to find out and you get to know exactly when we have incredible guests like Keith on. He has joined us once before, like we mentioned, so go ahead and check out the back catalog. You know you want to, but he's here once again with us, and we are so happy and humbled that he is. Please welcome back to the show, MLS and Apple TV analyst Keith Gostigan. Hey, Keith, how are you? Welcome back.
I'm good. How are you guys doing? Last time, if I'm not mistaken, you won the next game, right? That I did the show before. So
3-0 Vancouver.
Is this kind of you guys trying to play the karma card again, or like what way does that work?
100%.
They definitely need
100%.
that win against Pachuca. I mean, if there's really a must win, quote unquote, this year, I feel like it's this one to kind of save some kind of face on the season. But we'll ask you a little bit more about that here in a second.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, and Keith, a couple of shows ago, we had David Gass on. He said, you know what, if you want the Galaxy to win again this year, you should probably bring back Keith. But you got to make sure, between his like USL Div 2 coaching and university coach, just between all those things that he has in his amazing life, go ahead and do that. Just make sure you give him advance warning. So
that's a lot of pressure coming up. I'm excited about the game. I'm excited to be on the call for it. I mean, I did think in Leagues Cup you showed what you're capable of. You showed that over the last couple of weeks in moments. The Vancouver win is one. But the last couple of games has me concerned again, because I'm like, there's issues that we've seen early in the season, but then defensively those issues have started to rear again. And I'm a little bit more concerned than I would have been if this game had been played 2 weeks ago. I'll put it that way.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, this is a big one, but they just kind of got over a match that at the beginning of the year, and I kind of make fun of myself about this one a bunch, Keith, but back in December, I wrote a preview to the season, the Galaxy season, and I wrote that this game against Inter Miami was going to be a preview of MLS Cup. Now we know in real time that I mean, I was way off. The Galaxy did not help me out there, but obviously you can't really do anything against these two bits of Messi magic, right? But what are your overall impressions of that Galaxy performance in that match?
I thought it was a much better performance than we saw against Seattle. I thought there was spells in the game. I think when teams come out and play, Galaxy can have those moments in games where they can dominate. They can, generate good spells of possession, generate goal scoring chances. I thought in Painsel's goal, we saw a player that is hitting form again. I think he's been one of the bright spots over the last 10 games, whereas earlier in the season, I didn't quite see it. I know he had the injury right at the beginning of the season, but I didn't see that form. So that's the positives you can take. The other positive is that there was an improvement on what was a really, really poor performance against a Seattle Sounders side. And you can walk away and say we lost, but you did lose to, like you say, Messi magic. We saw Messi just do moments that we've all grown accustomed to. Look, I'm a Liverpool fan. I was there when Liverpool beat Barcelona. If Barcelona had have won and Messi did a piece of magic and someone said to me, well, you can still enjoy that, I would have wanted to punch them. I would have been like, no, you don't. Your team loses. So I know you don't feel that way, but I don't think there's any shame in losing to Messi doing those kind of things. But in terms of the overall performance, I'm still interested. Yamane, Cuevas has had some good moments recently. What are we going to see there? Surreal playing a little bit deeper. What's going to be the centre back pairing, for Pachuca? So there's lots of questions raised out of it. But I would say, first of all, better than Seattle. And second of all, you're going to need to be better than that against Pachuca. So somewhere in between in that mid zone in terms of what I took from the performance moving forward.
Yeah, no, definitely. They it's just like you said, they performed better than against Seattle, but let's face it, I mean, against Seattle they were very, very poor. So I mean, it kind of any kind of positive response that Greg got from these guys was going to be an improvement. I think, and just like you said, now it's the big one. Now it's going to be one of the Mexican teams that are trying to get through into this tournament. But let's take you back in time for a moment. You were with us right before the 4th of July. And like you said, you called the next Galaxy game, gave them luck. It was obviously your call that spurred the Galaxy on to greatness.
Yep.
And they got those 3 points. It was a big test for them that day against Vancouver. And they passed that one with flying colors, but they've won just one game since then. You kind of alluded to it earlier. You thought that they were going to get going. They didn't. We've thought that a bunch of times here on this pod. Why do you think they haven't been able to get going after showing kind of glimpses, maybe rattling off 1 or 2 good wins and then kind of stuttering or fluttering to deceive once again?
Yeah, I mean, look, I wish I could sit here and tell you I have the answer. It may be more infuriating, I would imagine, when you beat a Vancouver side who are very, very good, and you beat them being on the front foot, playing really good football. That was like a complete performance. 90 minutes. There was a spell at the start of the second half where I thought Vancouver were going to come back. You withstood that. You went out. No, it showed you all that's good about the Galaxy, even without some key players. And the fact that you don't build upon that has to be, head scratching if you're a fan. I still think there's moments like obviously the Cholos game where you guys show the firepower going forward, how good you can be when teams come out and play you. I don't have an answer. I think, look, the defensive inconsistencies. At the start of the year, people could say, well, Ricky Puig isn't there. I think now you're looking at so many more holes moving forward in this Galaxy team that no matter what happens in Leagues Cup, I think we talked about Aude and Nelson, who's going to be the left back. I would argue neither next year if you're going to be a contender again, based on what I've seen. Mm-hmm. I would argue that Imane had a great year last year, but maybe Cuevas deserves a little bit of a run to see if he can develop consistency, because that hasn't been a consistent performance level position. Cerrillo had a great year last year, and everyone said, well, this year he's going to cement himself. I would argue that he's done quite the opposite. I think you need an upgrade in that position if you're going to be successful next year. So I look at personnel, and the difference between good and great for me has always been consistency. And if players are up and down, you can't trust them. Yeah. And if you can't trust them, you can't build on them. And that would be my biggest takeaway. But overall, for Greg, it's got to be a head scratcher, because when you play at that high, why can't it reach those levels again against other teams? It's definitely perplexing.
Rob, I was gonna, just as a follow-up to that, we had David, like I said, we had David Gass on last time, and he was of the opinion that, Ricky, as good as he is, makes us an instant, at least a top 4 contender in the West again next year. But then the more I noodle on it, and you just said it, Keith, my theory is, look, and Rob, we might explore this a little bit, and this is just a thought that popped in my head the last couple of days, which is, I think we need to rebuild the spine. I think we've completely lost our. How like people say, pundits and media and everyone says the spine of your team is one of the most, like you build from your spine. If you look at our spine, goalkeeper all the way forward, it's not there, and it's like maybe we are in a rebuild. We have to rebuild that spine, even with Ricky Puig coming back, and it totally aligns with your thoughts. Started sputtering those thoughts in my head. And it's going to be, I think, a longer road than maybe people think. Although Will Kuntz has showed us the ability that in a year, those fortunes can change very quickly.
I think Will will be given the opportunity to go out and bring in players. Remember, the offseason is always difficult for Will because it was about managing a cap and having to make difficult decisions. So I don't think his job was made very easy in any way. But you mentioned the spine. We started the season looking at John McCarthy as the number one. I don't think he's the number one. As you know, I hope John doesn't feel disrespected by that. I like him. I've just never felt he's the number one in this league. Mitrovic hasn't won me over, and he's been given an opportunity now, which I think is a good idea by Greg, but has not won me over. Maya Yoshida is a year older, and I think a great servant. But you're talking about next year again. What's that going to look like? Zanka's come in, and I don't think is completely won anybody over with his performances. And then I mentioned Cerrillo as well, and I don't think he's been at that level. And it's unfair to say, well, I'll be better when Ricky Pucci is here, but we also need you to be better anyway. And I look forward to Nascimento, and I don't see a 9 that I'm like, wow, this is like a top level 9. So there's your spine. There's the centerpiece of that team. And leading into what you said in terms of rebuild, I think every one of those roles can be upgraded. And you throw in Ricky Pucci, yeah, he's a top 4 player in the league, but I don't think he makes your team top 4 based on what I've seen this year. That's because there's so many elements that are different to last year, and it's a concern. Ricky Pucci coming back is going to be electric. We're excited for it, but there's a lot more work that needs to be done.
Well, I'm sure that Will's going to be disappointed to hear that you guys have said that he's going to need to break open the checkbook and spend big.
He likes spending, I'm sure. They all do.
Yeah, no, definitely. Being able to make that splash. Hey, we saw that big splash here in Los Angeles just last week with Sonny's signing here for LAFC. And I was asked a couple of times, hey, Rob, what do you think about it? And I think it's great for soccer in the city, Keith. It elevates the standard in the league. Why wouldn't you want Sonny in your league? It's just, and he's so likable as well. But getting back here to the Galaxy, it's generally accepted, and a bunch of people have said, they're playing better than they were at the beginning of the season. You've rattled off a long list of players that could use an upgrade. Do you agree with that statement that they're playing better?
Well, I think they won one of their first 17 games, so better is a word that you lose when if I got 1 out of 100 in a test and the next time I got 2, I've done better the second time round, but both are not great. And I say that in the greatest of respects to the Galaxy, because the expectations I've always had, is the Galaxy are a contender. So
right.
There has been better results at times, but again, it's incredible inconsistency to go from the highs of hammering Vancouver. That's what you did that day. You really, really destroyed Vancouver. And you're like, well, Vancouver is a team that, are contending for the number 1 spot in the West. To go from that and to have such a limp performance against Seattle Sounders is not good enough. So performances have been slightly better, yes, but overall it's still nowhere near. And I'm not saying anything Red wouldn't say to you or Will wouldn't say to you.
Definitely.
It's definitely not what you'd expect from the Galaxy. Having said that, look, this is League's Cup quarterfinal. This is 4 MLS teams left, and you're one of them. And
exactly,
you have a home game on Wednesday. If I'm a fan, I'm getting out there and getting behind this team, because this is a big opportunity to get in CONCACAF Champions Cup, to go and be more prepared. This team is going to be more prepared next year, no doubt about that. Will go out and rebuild, and Greg will have more ammunition to fire those bullets with. But this is a big opportunity to go and get Champions Cup football for next year, and it's one you don't want to look beyond. And we saw enough in Leagues Cup, Cruz Azul as well, that performance. Santos were in a great team, but you still have to take control and get the win, and you did that. And against Cholos, you showed how devastating it can be going forward. So I do think there's positives there, and cup run and a cup win definitely brings back, this season as something that you can look back on and say, even in our most difficult time, we found a way to go on a run and maybe lift silverware. So don't look beyond this game. Don't let this, go beyond by the wayside because you're not having a great year. This is a great opportunity for the Galaxy, and I hope you guys and all the fans get behind the team on Wednesday and make it an incredible atmosphere, which we saw. By the way, you guys played such a role last year. The Minnesota game, the 6-2 game, that was one of the best atmospheres I've ever called a game at. For me, I was like, wow, this is how Dignity Health Sports Park is supposed to be. I want that kind of atmosphere again on Wednesday.
So do I. So do we. All of us. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's going to have
That
the
was good.
added element on Wednesday that you'll have a lot of Pachuca fans in the stands as well. So you're going to have a really interesting blend in the stands. But no, you're absolutely right, Keith. That's going to be a great atmosphere, hopefully. But do you think that the Galaxy, as one of the top 4 teams that made it through, do you think they can actually go ahead and beat Pachuca in the quarterfinal? And then if they actually do beat Pachuca, then the seeding has them next against Seattle, who they just took a 4-0 walloping to, right? So, I mean, yes, we would love for them to win that trophy, but realistically, I mean, I don't think they can do it. But I mean, that's just me. I mean, do you have an opinion? Do you have a different opinion on than what I'm saying?
Yeah, look, again, I'll go back to the inconsistencies. If somebody said to me, do you want to bet on this? Do you want to put money on this? Do you want to put money on the LA Galaxy? I would say absolutely not, because I don't know what to expect game to game. But I will also say, if the Galaxy go out there and produce a performance on Wednesday night and win against a really good Pachuca. So Pachuca, you think of all the top teams in Liga MX right now, Pachuca are top. In Jimmy Lozano, they have a coach who I think has a little bit of a point to prove as well. They have the likes of Quinones, they have the likes of Guzman, they have quality within the squad. If the Galaxy were to go out and win that game, I wouldn't be surprised either, because that's the levels that you've got from the Galaxy. You have the ability to produce an incredible high or to get spanked by a Seattle Sounders. Now, I wouldn't look beyond this game. I wouldn't start thinking about the semi, but if you win this, think about the momentum and what that does. And all of a sudden, it's a semi-final and you're coming up. Maybe it's Seattle. We don't know. It could be Puebla, because Puebla have done really well to get here as well. But if it is the Sounders, you learn things from that last game. It wouldn't be another 4-0 game. I can tell you that if you did play them again. But I know anybody inside that building is saying to Greg, well, you could face next. He's like, no, we're not looking beyond Pachuca. Pachuca, out of the sides you've played so far in this competition, Pachuca are the best Liga MX team you've played so far in this competition. So the level will have to improve. But the Galaxy are certainly capable of producing those kind of moments. We need it on a more consistent basis, but forget about all that right now. This is just about 90 minutes, and the Galaxy are more than capable in their own stadium of getting a win and moving on in Leagues Cup play.
Let's say the soccer gods favor the Galaxy and they end up winning the whole damn thing, how they say in Major League, right?
Thanks for jinxing it, Rob.
Hey, no, I'm just querying, right? So, obviously, their difficulties in the league are a huge storyline this year. But if they win this trophy, is the season not a wash? Is it kind of take some of the sting off of what's going on this year?
Yeah, I would say it does. I think anytime you can come out of a season and lift a trophy, it's massive. I remember I got back to English football last year when Tottenham played Manchester United in the Europa League, and they both had really poor ends of the season. And they said, look, you can salvage the season. Tottenham went out and celebrated and, lifted the trophy. I would look back at when I added all of the things that have happened to the Galaxy this year. Ricky Puig not available. All of a sudden having to make salary cap sacrifices at the start of the year. Losing someone like a Mark Delgado and having to replace him with, look, Parente and those kind of players are good players. They're good complementary pieces. But all of a sudden you're asking them to be more than maybe that they're ready for. So if you would have told me a couple of weeks ago the Galaxy can still come out of this season with a CONCACAF Champions Cup place and the potential to lift a trophy, I would say yes. That's the sign of a championship pedigree team. And I think what that will do is arm you next year to come back and be successful again. And we've seen the turnaround. The Galaxy missed the playoffs before last year lifting MLS Cup. So the turnaround kind of happened quickly. Ricky Puig is coming back. We know that's edging ever closer. So yeah, you dare to dream. I just did a bracket. I'm a Liverpool fan. Someone said, "Who's winning it?" Like, who do you think I'm putting as the team that's going to win it? That's what you do. So you guys need to go with that. I love the way, Rob, by the way, that I said only focus on one game, and you came back to me and said, "What if we win the whole thing?" So it's very difficult to just focus on one game because we want to go all the way. But I definitely think if at the end of Leagues Cup you're lifting the trophy in front of your own fans in your stadium, those memories are what you live for as a fan. And if you can do that, you're going to look back on this season. That's going to be the first memory. Not we struggled, not we had injuries, not we missed Ricky Puig. You're going to think back to, man, we lifted another trophy. Not everybody gets to do that.
It's true. Yeah.
Keith, we just have one more for you, and thank you so much once again for joining us. You've mentioned Ricky and the Galaxy missing him. 8 games left in the season, and recently some of your colleagues at MLS interviewed Landon Donovan, and LD seems to think that at this point Ricky should just sit. He should just kind of get healthy as healthy as he can, and just kind of get ready for 2026. What do you think? Do you think he should see some action in game time, or do you think Captain America LD is right here?
Is this the Landon Donovan that accused Christian Pulisic and these guys of being soft? And he's telling a player who's ready to play.
I think it's the same one.
I mean, look, I love Landon, but this is a ridiculous take. Like, you're fit to play, you play. Every game should matter. So the idea that Landon can come out on one end and rip on, US players, and they need to fight, they need to show, we fought in my day, in my era, we fought. Oh, he's ready to play? Yeah, might as well just sit. There's nothing to play for. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. So Landon, love you, but you're like so off base with this hot take or whatever. It's not even a hot take. It's a ridiculous take. If Ricky Puig is ready, Ricky Puig should play. And you as fans should want that. You should demand that. Imagine you're going to a game. You've committed to every game as a Galaxy fan. And you go and you're like, why is Ricky sitting down there still injured? No, he's fit to play. He's not going to bother. Well, why should I bother? So Landon, no, you're wrong. Like, every game you're available to play. Yeah, just the idea that Landon could come out with that. I'm sorry, that's absolutely bizarre and ridiculous. So I know you guys love him. I love him too. That's an awful thing.
That's actually a great point. Yeah.
Well, Keith, last time we were here, you were dropping bars for sure. Now you dropping bars again for sure. I sense a theme here, y'all. If and please do come back next time you're here. Hopefully you're dropping this hot fire again. Thank you so much for joining us again. Can you remind the folk out there in chat and anybody that's listening where they can find you and what you're going to be calling next?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, find me on X if you guys want to interact at Keith Costian. Instagram, I think Keith03. And then Wednesday, I'll be on the call. Leagues Cup, LA Galaxy Pachuca.
Let's go.
9 p.m. Pacific on the East Coast. Hopefully, you guys can stay up and stay with us this weekend, Cincinnati and NYC. So we appreciate your guys' support in terms of what we do on Apple TV. And I will say this: I don't know what's going to happen on Wednesday. But I'm glad you guys had me on. I'm hoping I can have the same kind of karma for you guys coming into this week as well.
From your lips to the Lord's ears, as we always say on the show.
Yes, for sure. I mean, you are the good luck charm Keith, thank you once again for being here. Again, we said it a bunch of times, but really, we were very humbled by your time and your graciousness with being here with us. Please come back and join us again.
Anytime. Enjoy Wednesday, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you
Keith.
so
Have a
much.
great call on Wednesday. See ya.
We'll see you there. Yeah, we'll see Keith. Well, not Ananda because he's in an undisclosed location, but I will see Keith there at the stadium as the Galaxy take on Pachuca. And yeah, I mean Keith is absolutely right with pretty much everything he said. Again, which again he's dropping those hot fire bars. So if you missed it, go ahead and check it out. Keith Costigan once again. And if you missed last time he was here on the show with us, go ahead and check out that back catalog. But Ananda, we've already touched on a little bit of this Inter Miami game, but I suppose we got to get what do they say in the tech world? We got to double click into this a little bit deeper.
At the you mean in like all episodes of The Office? Let's double click on it.
Yes, let's
investigate this further.
Per my last email, the Galaxy copped that 3-1 loss. But let's start where we normally do, Ananda. Let's look at this lineup. It was very much changed. Well, what did you notice from it?
A lot, right? I think a lot. I mean, I think you could probably rattle off through the changes, Rob, but I guess I want to talk about a larger point. Well, actually, let me start with this. Like when I saw this lineup, again, I caught this game late because I'm on the other side of the world, but I saw the lineup like after I saw I saw the score at halftime, and I was like, oh, I'm not surprised. It was a highly changed lineup. We did expect some changes though, right? But I think the worrying thing though is some of these changes were through injury or through things that we didn't expect. So you can touch on that a little bit too, Rob. But I think when I looked at this, I was like, oh, against Miami, like I'm not feeling confident. That this lineup does not fill me with confidence. Let's put it that way.
You know what? It didn't fill me with confidence when I saw either. But then, like I said at the top of the show, they actually acquitted themselves quite well. A bunch of people were saying in the lead up to this game that we might get a Zanka Zavaleta center back partnership. Some people were already coming up with nicknames: ZZ Top, ZZ Stop, the Killer Z's. And you know what? I was here for all of them. I was like, all right, let's see how this goes. All right. I mean, we always talk about how Eric Zavaleta is really dependable like that. I mean, he won't play for like 15 games, come out and give you like a 7 of 10 performance. And you know, it's I kind of feel like it's more like when you have to play him in a run of games where, you know, some of his deficiencies actually start like coming to the fore. But you know, people were saying, hey, we're going to see that. Yes. Ananda?
Well, I was going to say, you know what this actually exposes, Rob? And if you think about the difference between this year and last year, if you think about it big picture, it exposed our lack of depth. You talked about just having to start Zanka and Zavaleta versus last year. Let's say Emi Garces wasn't playing well, give Jalen Neal a shot. More than ready, more than capable center back to slot in there, right? If Mark Delgado, who we don't have this year, was having a bad game, slot in Gaston Brugman, a MLS Cup final MVP. So I think the win last year and sort of all the salary cap ramifications more than anything, and we've seen it all year. It hurts our depth. It hurts our competition for places. We're not a deep team anymore. And it's like we're going through a new cycle because I'm not saying that Isaiah Parente, Elijah Winder, those Mocuevas cannot be depth pieces, cannot be starting 11 pieces, but we don't know that yet. And the problem is we need time, which is something the Galaxy fans do not have. We don't have a lot of time and patience for these things to mull over year after year, right? So because those same fans are going to point to the Seattle use case and be like, they can slot in Paul Rothrock and Jackson Reagan whenever they want, and they Pam teams 4-0. So how does that work for our teams? That's the interesting thing about this.
Yeah, but they've had the foundation. they've had that foundation though for years, in which, you know, even before Brian Schmetzer was the head coach, he was the assistant, and you know, they were laying this groundwork for all this, you know, like.
But you need to get to that point. You need to get back to that point. Anyways, we're
Oh,
gonna explore this.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna explore this a little bit too in a talking point later. So I'm just gonna shelve it for now.
Okay, let's go ahead and shove it. But no, you're right. There was a lot of changes in this one, and ultimately I called out that ZZ Top partnership there. It ended up being Zonka and Edwin Cerrillo, who Edwin Cerrillo hadn't played that center back role since he lined up as center back against LAFC. Excuse me.
Cooling break. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, got that, got the that tickle in the throat. So anyway, but Ananda mentioned the Parente and Winder starting partnership there in midfield. It was a kind of a topsy turvy lineup. Obviously, the Galaxy had an eye towards the League's Cup here coming up on Wednesday, but if you missed it, the Galaxy fell 3-1 on the road to Inter Miami at Chase Stadium on Saturday night. And, you know, like I've mentioned a couple times, this rotated lineup held their own. They did quite well. I mean, let's keep it a buck. They were clearly outmatched. I mean, Miami on you know, by soccer merit deserved the 3 points. I mean, they were playing better soccer, but you know, that's deserved, and merit isn't how soccer games are won. They're won on in the scoreline, and the Galaxy had kept this one 1-1 for large parts of this match, going into the 80th minute. And you know, I thought for sure that it was going to be a wash, Ananda, when the Galaxy came out and gave up an early goal. Elijah Winter plays a bad pass in the back, and he is immediately punished by Inter Miami getting a goal. Luckily for him, that one gets called back, but Jordi Alba finally breaks through with a well-taken goal in the 43rd minute that Joseph Paintsill cancels out in the second half. His wonderful solo effort, just on par with, you know, Alba's goal. That was pretty nice in its own right. But like I mentioned, in truth, even though the Galaxy put up really brave resistance, they were outclassed offensively, and Messi coming in the second half did not help matters, and you know, it must have been really disheartening for the Galaxy defense to see that man come on in the second half. But somehow, some way, they kept it level, like I mentioned, through 80 minutes, and then Ananda, guess what happens?
The inevitable one.
Yeah, did you just say that Messi is Thanos fool? Like,
Pretty much. I mean, pretty much.
Damn. Well, first one thing happens before Messi goes Thanos mode, in that Greg makes a mass substitution there in the 79th.
Yeah, line change.
And this is what I kind of feel like leads to this goal here. I feel like the players that come on don't, and especially Lucas Sanabria, don't really have the pace of the game here when they come on. But yeah, we've already mentioned it. Messi goes off there in the 84th minute, shimmies past Lucas Sanabria with a little drop step, and shoots inside Novak Michovic's post for the 2-1 scoreline. He gets the game winner. Just a couple moments later, he gets the ball at the top of the center circle, and just so nonchalant, like he's just taking a little leisurely stroll. He just back heels it, back flicks it into Luis Suarez's path for Suarez to tuck it away for the 3-1 scoreline. And that's how the game ends. 3-1. Messi settles this one with his heroics in 5 minutes, doing Messi things. What else can you say? This is just really one of those things that the Galaxy do everything right for 84 minutes, and then they just have one little moment of letdown, and everything ravels apart. Right, Ananda?
That it sure does, and it all falls apart. Shout out old Kanye.
Yeah, I miss the real Kanye for sure. Anyway, yeah, that one was a tough one, Ananda, because again, just Messi did Messi things. You can't really do anything against that. But now the Galaxy hold a 2-2-2 record in 6 matches played across all competitions dating back to July 31st. We did talk about Joseph Paintsil. Keith talked about him as well and how he's kind of rounding into form. He scored his 5th goal of the season against Inter Miami. He ranks first on the team with 9 goals scored across all competitions during the season, 5 goal contributions, 4 goals and 1 assist in his last 5 matches. And I already mentioned Edwin Cerrillo lining up a center back the first time he had done so against LAFC.
Didn't like that at all. Did not like that. You know the square pegs and round holes things, man. It's tough. You move one piece, and if you move one piece, and it lessens the level of our midfield instantly, right? And what do we say? Midfield battle. I knew we were going to lose. As soon as I saw that line, I was like, we're going to lose this midfield battle 100%. 100%. No knock on Winder and Parente, but
well, tell us more. Let's get into the stats. You've been doing this one key stat thing. Go ahead and hit us back with that.
Yeah, I think for me, the one key stat was super simple, man. You look at that expected goals. The Galaxy offered nothing. The Galaxy had 0.2 expected goals. That is 0.2 of a goal versus Inter Miami's 2.6. And Rob, if you date this back to the Seattle game, now we've had a combined XG of 0.8, which is less than 1 goal combined expected goals. So you think about that, and you think about the thing that Keith mentioned is like, you know what, if you would ask me this question of how do I think the Galaxy are before the Pachuca game, he would have said before these last 2 games in a decent position. But now after these 2 games, the fact that we can't generate any offense, that's concerning. That's a huge concern, right? Because are we able to switch it back on just like that offensively? I don't know. Right. So that's a huge concern for me. And that's my one key stat. And I think that just tells the tale of this game. The Galaxy offered very little. Even JP's chance was a very small chance. Like it was such a tight angle, and there was only one place to put it, which was between the keeper, and luckily deflected off his hand a little bit, or his leg, I can't remember, and went in the back of the net. So, but Rob, this is concerning, right? But again, like you mentioned, 84 minutes we hung in there, but this game got messy. And ultimately we got Messi'd. And the one thing that I thought about, like big picture from this, Rob, is that yes, we had a respectable showing, but in the end, 2 things. One is this should have been expected because the Galaxy haven't been a 90-minute team all year. We've been talking about that theme all year, but I think about the difference just a year ago, right? I bring up this picture and a tweet by Alex Ruiz. He says, looking back at it, this moment was the tone setter for the championship in 2024. Not backing down from Messi in Miami at home at DHSP was a moment to remind the team in MLS that the Galaxy won't be pushed around. Haven't had a similar moment like that this season. And that's facts, because we were hanging in there for 1-1, but then we got pushed around by Messi, right? The lack of attention to detail, and like you said, for the Galaxy to win, they had to switch on for the 90. They did not. They switched off for that one moment, and Messi killed us. And I think these little things, whether it's the attention, the detail, but whether it's like what Alex said, which is setting the tone, not being scared, or not, I want to say not being scared, like not feeling intimidated by whether it's the occasion or the player or anything like that.
Or feeling sorry for yourself. We don't have Ricky.
All those things, all the above, right? We always said last year, Rob, what a difference a year makes. Well, what if a difference a year makes from 25 to 24? Because 2024 was, like Alex said, it was set the tone. This game set the tone for 2024. And 2025, it's been the polar opposite.
How things change. We've talked about it a couple times on this pod as well, that this hopefully is the setup for next year. I mean, it has to be right on. I mean, we talk about all the time. This team needs to get back to the consistency. Keith spoke about it as well. The consistency. He spoke about it in the game sense, but we need to speak about it long term as well. I mean, I remember a couple weeks back when we had the comment in chat of the Galaxy are who. No, Seattle
We
is
thought they were.
who. Exactly. No, Seattle is who Galaxy fans wish the Galaxy actually were.
Correct.
And it's because they've been a model consistency for a long time now. I mean, you look at this Galaxy team, they have now gone through this 2025 season in which, by all intents and purposes, is a lost year. I mean, if they win the League's Cup, awesome, right? But in terms of the league, it's a lost year. So that's 2 lost seasons now in the last 3 years. In 2023, it was a wash, right? And then you double click out real quick, and then you look at this, and it's 6 out of the last 8 seasons where they don't make the playoffs.
Right. If we miss this year, which is bound to happen, right?
Right. And then you look at the Continental competition, which we're always going on and on about. If you want to be a big team, you have to play in this competition, right? Well, the Galaxy played in the Champions Cup this year for the first year in a decade, and now they're in danger of not making it again if they don't get one of these top 3 spots in the League's Cup. So that all begs the question, Ananda, and we'll ask you, Chad. I mean, again, I mean, and really look at things and keep it 100 with yourself and with everybody else. Is the Galaxy still a big team? Ananda, what do you think? In chat, go ahead and start dropping that in there.
You know what, man, thinking about this question more and more, I kind of want to just do a whole dedicated pod on this. You know, well, let's like, I'm just brain dumping right now, but just like inviting someone where we can have a conversation, maybe a couple folks that cover the Galaxy.
Cancel
Because
court
Rob,
again?
because Rob, you can dissect this in so many different ways, whether you look at recruiting, the coach, the players, the academy, off the field, marketing. There's so many layers to peel behind this, but to keep it simple, I think my overarching like helicopter theme is, look, the Galaxy are a club that I thought was heading in the right direction last year, but unfortunately right now we are still resting on our laurels, right? We're still resting on the legacy part of this team, because if you ask from a name recognition standpoint, there's no question the Galaxy are still a big club. But Rob, this is probably the same conversation, tough conversation that you've had with yourself and your United mates about your club in England. Yes, they're a big club, but are they acting like the big club in terms of trophies, in terms of winning mentality, in terms of year over year like Seattle, to show that you can compete on all fronts? I don't think you can.
Hell no. No, just
So I think we should do a larger pod about this, man, because this is a really, really interesting question. But that's why I want to noodle on this and chat. If you drop stuff in the comments right now, I'll definitely like save those, and I want to bring those up, what the Galaxy faithful are thinking about this. But this makes you really think, doesn't it, as a fan, as people that cover the club, that if they're still a big club. As I've said this year, I think we've taken 3 steps back, 2 steps back, however you want to take it, with that one really, really good step forward last year. So it's just been infuriating, I think, if you, like, as we are right now in this moment in time, because we're in the thick of it, right? I think I remember Lex saying last time, LA Galaxy 310, he said, you know, it's infuriating right now because we're in it. We're knee deep in it, and we don't have a light at the end of the tunnel yet. So yeah, man, this is a tough question, and I think we should really, really think about this hard as Galaxy fans.
You know, all I got to say about this is that last year the Galaxy came back from 2023 and they won a title. We saw the bounce back, right? And so you very much can believe in that concept of sometimes you got to burn something down to make it, to build it back up and make it stronger. So it really just depends on 2026. I mean, I've seen here in this chat right now people asking how long Greg has in 2026. Like if he gets off to a bad year, right? If the Galaxy start rattling off a couple losses, what happens, right? I mean, 2026 is going to be interesting. I mean, those first 5 games, Ananda, going to be.
But there's so many variables to
what?
this, Rob. Like, who are we going to add to the team? Who are we going to get rid of on the team? How's the roster going to shape up? And then, of course, you have the Greg thing, and then again, like, what is going to happen from now to the end of the season off the pitch with V block and all that? There's so many layers to this, so I don't think it's an easy answer. I think that's something like like someone said in the chat, an extended pod to really peel back the layers of answering this question.
Maybe we need to bring back Judge Sophie and take this one back to court. Who knows?
There you go.
Guys, we didn't do a defending the badge against Seattle because, let's face it, it was a performance that, by Greg's admission and Maya Yoshida's admission, was below standard. So we took our cue from them and didn't award a defending the badge. I actually have a couple of candidates here for defending the badge here in this match, Ananda, if I may be so bold.
Go for it.
I really liked JP's performance. I mean, he really fought in this one. Besides his goal, he completed the most dribbles in the match out of anybody in between the two teams. Was the most fouled player in the match and won the most duels in the match. I mean, he really gave it his all in this one. 3 recoveries and 100% pass accuracy. And then Isaiah Parente, not a very sexy choice here, but he had the assist, a chance created, 93% pass accuracy, 12 passes into the final third, 1 clearance, 2 recoveries, 2 duels, 1. I really think that Isaiah Parente is a piece for the future, Ananda. I think whatever happens next year, I think hopefully he's still on this roster because he is a solid depth piece for sure. But between both of them, obviously got to go JP. He is the goal scorer. He gave the Galaxy a moment of hope before Messi viciously came and stomped it out.
I'm with you on that. I think JP too. Like I never question his effort level. He always gives 100. He always empties the tank, in my opinion. The thing about JP that always gets me is his decision making in the final third. That's what separates the good from the great, right? Is that like consistently making the right decision in the final third. I think this team is infuriated a lot of fans watching the game in terms of not looking for the extra pass or maybe looking for the wrong option, which again is so weird because it's such a regression from last year. And yeah, it's just unfortunate. But yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you. I think JP always empties the tank, in my opinion.
Yeah, he put a lot out there. Well, where does that leave the Galaxy? Even though they put out a good showing.
Wooden spoonbound.
Yeah, well, you're not far off there. After 26 matches, the Galaxy holds a 3-16-7 record, 29 goals for, 55 goals against, on 16 points, good enough for 0.62 points per game, a negative 26 goal differential, still 15th and last place, your LA Galaxy. They are 16 points behind 9th place, San Jose at the moment, who, to be honest, is letting teams kind of still hang around. If San Jose doesn't make the playoffs, they're going to be kicking themselves that they hovered around that line for so long. But the Galaxy, their worst season in a 34 game season was 32 points. They're on 16 at the moment with an available 24 left. So Ananda, they would have to, pick up what 16 of those 24, just to tie their worst showing.
I think your math is correct. Pretty nuts, right? So yeah, spoon as good as ours. We're gonna have probably a historically bad season. So we'll see. We'll see, man.
See, I've been learning my letters and numbers. I mean, Elmo and Sesame Street's really been doing that for me. They've been doing their thing. But let's look ahead to this quarterfinal preview against Pachuca. They are one of the top 4 teams on the Mexican side for a reason. This one kicks off late. Keith told you it kicks off at 9. I was actually seeing the listings there, and I saw 8:45. But yeah, Keith is calling it, so he would know. 9 p.m. And 8 all-time Leagues Cup matches played in this format, which began in 2023. The Galaxy holds a 3-3-2 record. They hold a 2-2-2 record at the Digs. In 3 matches played in phase 1 of the competition, they had an unbeaten 2-0-1 record. They recorded the second most goals with 10 and held the best goal differential, second best goal differential, +7 amongst all teams. And in 4 matches played against Liga MX opponents at the Digs, they hold a 2-0-2 record, Ananda. So they have a little bit of momentum in this tournament anyway, going into this. Too bad it hasn't translated over to the league. Galaxy have a couple of injury worries. That's why they had some rotation as well against Inter Miami. Still missing Emilio Garces and still missing Maya Yoshida, as well as Ricky Puig. But yes, Ananda.
I was gonna say, Rob, did you get an update at all on Maya? Because in FOTMobs it says mid-September, but I don't know. Do you have an update on that? Because that's worrying for me if it's mid-September.
Ooh, we will get an update tomorrow at media availability.
That's a huge loss if he's not in that quarterfinal.
Yeah, that is definitely a huge loss. Like I mentioned, we'll get clarity on that tomorrow and in that press conference. Pachuca isn't missing a huge vital piece. They are missing a contributor in Andres Micolta. My paisano, actually, Ananda, El Ecuatoriano. The center back has 4 matches under his belt, all starts. He has been a starter here for this team, but again, isn't one of the strong starting 11. More on the fringes of the starting 11 here. So unfortunate to get injured here and lose his place. But Pachuca, their form over the last couple matches, they lost their last match at home 2-0 versus Tijuana and Apertura. Gilbert Mora doing Gilbert Mora things. He scored another goal. Before that, it was a 3-0 win over Atlas on the road. And then it was that League's Cup adventure for them, 2-1 win over Houston in the Game 3 of the League's Cup. They also took on a penalty loss to LAFC in Game 2, and they opened with a 3-2 win over San Diego in Game 1. They won their first 3 matches of the Apertura campaign, which puts them in first place in the Mexican League table. After 5 games played, they have a 4-0-1 record on 12 points. They are scoring well, Ananda, and defending well. They've scored 10 and only conceded 4. Like Keith said, Jimmy Lozano's got this team playing pretty well. They usually play in that 4-2-3-1 system. So if you want a good example of a team that plays with that good double pivot, look no further than Pachuca. It'll be interesting to see what Greg puts out against that lineup. But Ananda, speaking of what Greg could put out, keeping in mind that we'll get more clarity on Maya, let's assume that he's not available. What's your starting lineup here?
Yeah, let's start with that. I mean, it's got to be Zonka and Emi Garces, right? Hopefully both, well, Emi, in fact, hopefully he is fit and available to go. So that moves Cerrillo back into the midfield, and you just got to play your strongest team, man. Look, Mo Cuevas has had a good outing in Leagues Cup. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Rob, he started all 3 matches, or maybe he didn't start the very last one. I can't remember. No, he did start the last one.
Against Miami?
No, sorry. In the 3 Leagues Cup matches, I believe Cuevas has started all 3.
Yes,
so you ride the hot hand there. I think I would go with that. I'd go with Julian Aude. I would go with your best midfield 3, which right now it's Diego Fagundes, Edwin City, and Marco Royce. and then your best front three, right? I think you've got to go with your strongest 11, and I think that's the 11 that we played for both. Oh, it might have been unchanged for all three, except for Maya, because Maya was injured. So again, that's a huge one, man. I think we need our captain back on the field. We need as many emotional leaders because this is going to be an emotionally charged game. It's a quarterfinal. It's a knockout competition. You've got to empty the tank, and you got to have your best players. So, yeah.
Yeah, E Super One, kind of thinking what I'm thinking as well. Like, hopefully they just kept him back, kept Yoshi back from traveling to Miami, just so he doesn't get that wear and tear on his
That's a
body in
good
that
point.
travel.
Yeah.
I mean, if Mob is correct, and we'll get clarity on it tomorrow, then yes, that'll be a huge loss, losing Mayoshita until September there. But Ananda, you've been doing the stats very nicely tonight. Might I add? You have one key stat for us here that will dictate this match.
I don't really have one key stat. I mean, because if you look at all the stats for example, for Pachuca, they, they've only played what 5 or 6 games in the Apertura for this year. 5. They play the Club World Cup, which I think that was a tournament that they did not do well in. So again, you talked about what Jaime Lozano is trying to do with this team. So I don't really have any like key stats because, like I said, you can't really take the form in the league too much from the Liga MX side. But Rob, this is a game we've got to expect the same game as Cruz Azul, right? I think the wild card in this one's going to be the atmosphere. Is it going to be like the Cruz Azul game where it was a Sunday game and there's a lot of Cruz Azul fans? Will Pachuca fans show up? Because again, as I predicted coming in that game, ironically, the fact that the Galaxy fans were outnumbered, I think actually brought a level of atmosphere, or raised a level of atmosphere in Dignity Health Sports Park, especially with everything that's going on off the pitch right now, right? So I think that's going to be a wild card in this game. But look, Pachuca's a big team, and they're going to come out very, very intense. This is going to be another intense matchup. It's going to be high intensity. The Galaxy have to be up to the challenge. So for me, I think stats are, especially knockout games, Rob, stats to me hold less weight. I think it's all about attitude, application, and sticking to the game plan and making sure you execute it to a T, right?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. It is a knockout competition, so, and this team, this Pachuca team, has only a couple games under their belt. So, and to kind of illustrate that, you look at their kind of like the high performers. Gaston Togni has 2 goals. John Cadiz has 2 goals and an assist. Elias Montel has 2 assists and goal, and Victor Guzman has 3 assists. I mean, not a lot, but it's only because they've played 5 games, right? So this is basically what you can expect from a Pachuca team, this 4-2-3-1 here. And you can expect them to be very organized and
agreed.
hard to break down. Ananda, we're looking at this from the Galaxy side. For the Galaxy to win this match, they have to ... And then chat, start dropping in your game predictions. Let us know who you think is going to win this match. If you think the Galaxy is going to score what I think is accurate in saying is a an upset, let us know. Let us know if you think the Galaxy is going to win. Tell us your game prediction there in chat. What do you think, Ananda?
Look, I think this is going to apply now to every game that the Galaxy are going to be in, hopefully up to until the final in Leagues Cup, which is for the Galaxy to win, Rob. They need to approach every game like it's a final. It's now or never now. It's do or die, right? It's like the title of this video says, it's Leagues Cup or bust. So they need to treat this like a final. You need to empty the tank 120%, whatever the cliches are. You need to empty that tank. You need to show that desire. Like I said, it's about intensity and application. If you're not up to the challenge, you don't deserve to go to the next round. And then from there, you take moments of either brilliance or unfortunately moments of a lack of concentration to separate this game. I mean, we'll talk about the score predictions in a little bit, but that's always how it is. It's always about the fine margins, especially in these sort of knockout games. But I think more than anything else, I just hope the Galaxy empty the tank and they're up to the challenge, because that's the one thing I can see how these last two leagues games demoralize the team. Like I said, 0.8 XG combined, Rob, in the last two games. That's a recipe for disaster for this game, right? So, and the Galaxy defense aren't, I think Pachuca are going to score. And again, I don't want to lead to my score prediction. So you've got to have a Galaxy team that can put the ball in the back of the net, that can find their Leagues Cup form and put that ball in the back of the net at least more than once, in my opinion. But they got to treat this like a final. And I think it all starts from there.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're kind of on the same track. I mean, they just have to kind of just play this match. The Galaxy to win this match, they have to just concentrate on this match, just like Keith was saying, right? Forget the past year, forget their previous matches against Mexican opposition. They need to go out there and play this match like it's the only match that matters, and really just approach it like that. Like you said, all the cliches, throw them in there. Hopefully, I mean, they have Greg speaking on it. Hopefully they have Don Raul speaking on it. Hopefully he's giving them pep talks. Hopefully, they have, just all the big motivators coming out to talk to this team, like the previous greats. Kobe's down there talking to them. I mean, all of them. I want to see all of them down there, because this one is a big one, and hopefully they feel that magnitude of this one. Ananda, did you and Dr. Raquinho actually get around to doing some betting odds? Because I know he said that you and him were going to hang out and go drink some Mai Tais, but I don't know if you actually were going to get around to doing the betting odds.
You know what's crazy, man, is he actually took some Spanish lessons recently with me, and some Spanish speaking lessons. And so he actually pulled this up, and he actually pulled up these betting odds in Spanish, Papa. So pretty crazy there. So you look at these betting odds here, win probabilities. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. Look at that, Papa. 34% for the Galaxy, who are the home team. 43% for Pachuca, the away team.
Wow.
It's a tight one. It's a pretty tight one. It's going to go either way. And again, it all just depends on the margins at that point.
Well, Carlos Gillia says, in order for the Galaxy to win, Eli needs to oil up again. Only way for us to win the League's Cup. I can't believe I missed the first time he got oiled up. I'm very sad about it. Someone send the pictures. Anyway, Ananda, it is time. You know what time it is. You said you were going to go first. You said it at the top of the show.
I did, but I was lying, because chat always goes first. So let's hit up the chat. Let's see what they had to say. Rob eSuper1 says 2-1 Galaxy. Comments 96. Shout out Primo. He says, I'll say 3-2 G's.
Ow.
And then eSuper said, changed his mind, said, you know what? I'm gonna go 3-2 also. +1 goal differential. Joe 30 cool. 3-2. Let's go G's. And yeah, that's it for now. I think that would be my heart pick. My head pick, Rob. Oh man, this is gonna be a nail biter. 1-1, and we win in the penalty shootout.
Ooh, yeah. You know what, man?
This is a tight. This is going to be a cagey tight game, and I think.
You know what? I would have said that a week ago, and it is probably still true. But a couple people have mentioned it in chat already that this Pachuca team just lost to Tijuana, the same Tijuana team that the Galaxy dismantled. Now that theory doesn't always hold true. Like, I beat the team that beat you, so we're obviously better than you, blah, blah, blah. But the Galaxy will look at that and be like, this team can get got at. They have weaknesses. They have a team like Tijuana beating them, who Tijuana, no disrespect to them, they, are traditionally not at the level of Pachuca, but they just got beat by a feisty Tijuana side. So the Galaxy will look at that and be heartened and say, hey, if they did it, why not us too? I'm going to go ahead and say the Galaxy win this one 3-2 as well. Comment says it. Joe 13 Cool says it. 3-2. I mean, I got to say it too. I'm hyped up. I'm on the train too. Let's go. 3-2. Let's go. Much love to you as well, Edgar Nags. Thank you so much. Shout out to you and the Nag boys. Thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, I mean, you guys caught me at a good moment. I'm hyped up. I'm gonna go for the head and the heart pick. 3-2. Let's go. All brakes, no gas. Choo choo.
From your lips to the Lord's ears, as I said. From the chat's lips to the Lord's ears. So let's speak into the existence, guys. But we can all agree on one thing: this is going to be an absolutely massive game, and I hope I can catch it. I don't know what time it's going to be. Oh, it's going to be a little later because it's a 9 p.m. kickoff. So it's like, the time that we started this stream. So yeah, I'll be up at 6 a.m. biting my nails with my coffee and my little croissant.
What an anxious way to start the day.
That it is. But you know what? We do some wild things for this team, whether they deserve it or not. We do. So anyways,
that is very true. Well, guys, we've come to the end, and let me tell you what we have next. Yes, Super One, choo choo, all gas, no brakes. Let's go. Choo choo indeed. Come and ride the train. Anyway, on Thursday, August 21st, we'll bring you a Leagues Cup quarterfinal reaction pod plus a Colorado Rapids preview pod for that game happening on the weekend. And then a week from today, on Monday, August 25th, we'll bring you a Colorado Rapids reaction pod and hopefully a Galaxy Leagues Cup semifinal preview if everything goes well against Pachuca. But Ananda, that's pretty much all I have for you and the peoples. Anything else to add?
Just want to say first, thank you to everyone in chat. Thank you for putting up with my morning AM ASMR voice for the morning. Although Rob says I sound extra bassy today, so that's always nice.
You sound like Theo from 92.3 The Beat, man. Or
there
like no, was he on the beat?
I missed those stations, man. 99.1 KGGI, Power 106, Big Boy. Anyways,
somebody fact check me. What was Theo on?
Really quick, I did have this comment starred from Hector Navas. I think this is important, Rob. I just want to bring this up real quick. He says, I know you guys don't like to talk about Greg, and yes, he got a contract extension, but he's the one to blame as well. He's not doing his job as a manager.
Is that the perception that we don't like to talk about Greg? Is that what the people think?
Well, here's the thing. Here's all I'm going to say about this. I don't need to defend myself in saying that we talk about Greg quite a bit, but I think it's fair to say that everyone, Hector, deserves blame. Even Will Kuntz. I don't think Will Kuntz is free. I don't think Will Kuntz is free from criticism. His signings haven't hit yet. Will they hit in the future? Maybe. But for right now, the optics don't look good, right? So I think you can blame every single. When it's a failure to this massive level, you can't put it on one person. It's the whole thing, right? There's multiple points I think that you can put blame on, and Greg has to take a big part of that. But I don't think people like Will Kuntz are free from that either.
Yeah, as much as I want to say,
and I love Will Kuntz. Yeah, he's still the chef to me. So
same. I mean, the same thing. I mean, yeah, like I hate to be like, yeah, we need to look at him as well because I think the man is brilliant and he's just a class gentleman. But yeah, I mean, you have to look at that. I mean, he said in interviews months back that his mates on the baseball side told him, if this was baseball, you would have been gone already. And he said, well, fortunately, it's not baseball. And, we just won a title, So that's all I got to say. If we brought it up earlier, 2026 is going to be interesting to see how much time this team has to get it all together. And we don't even know what that team looks like yet. But before all that, the Galaxy have a trophy to win. Our Primo comment 96, the homie El Primo Big Met says, let's get him, G's. Get on the hype train all day. Choo choo all day. Let's get him. So I think that pretty much brings it to the end for us, right, Ananda?
That's right. And so only a couple of things left to say, right, Papa?
Yeah, only a couple of things left to say is, right now, Galaxy got to get the Leagues Cup win to get this season a little bit more respectful for them. So good luck to them on Wednesday. Certainly it'll help me write a cool headline. And thank you so much to you, chat, for being here and hanging out and providing all the good commentary and good moments. And now, without further ado, only one thing left to say.
Except for hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, smash those likes, and leave a comment down below. Let's get it.
And now, Jesus.